Just do it!
Welcome to The Know, I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm Mica Burton.
Scorpio got officially unveiled last week, but more details about Microsoft's 4K beefcake are coming pretty much every day now. This time, we've got another look at Scorpio via Gamma Sutra, revealing a few new details about the next Xbox thanks to hands-on time with its official dev kit, which may possibly give us some insight into the box's design as well, along with some thoughts from Xbox boss Phil Spencer about Microsoft's plans for this generation and beyond.
Plus, we learned that Microsoft almost launched another brand new console last year. They were working on their own handheld, and they want to turn their exclusives into multi-generation services. So, yeah, that's a lot to dig through here.
Well, first, let's talk about Scorpio, or more specifically, its dev kit, which Gamma Sutra got a preview of this week. Now, it's interesting to look at for a couple of reasons. For one, the design of the original Xbox One was actually fairly similar to its dev kit, so seeing the Scorpio one could give us a few design cues.
And two, the changes made to Scorpio's dev kit continue to signal that Microsoft is doing everything it can to woo developers back to their platform. In fact, much of Gamma Sutra's piece is about the push for developers, with some very similar comments to the ones they made during last week's reveal of Scorpio as well. At the time, they said they want to lure developers into making the best possible versions of their games for Xbox.
And they're demonstrating that commitment partially through these dev kits, which are basically an incorporation of years of feedback and complaints from developers about the Xbox One. According to Gamma Sutra, the new dev kits have front displays showing useful information like current build data, feature double the RAM as the retail unit, so 24 gigabytes, and a more powerful GPU as well. Plus, they can be toggled to match the specs of the OG Xbox One or the Xbox One S for easier testing.
According to Microsoft, our overarching design principle was to make it easy for devs to hit our goals: 4K, 4K textures, rock-steady frame rates, HDR wide color gamut, and spatial audio.
Now, supposedly these improvements, plus some of the other changes they've made to get rid of processes that cost developers a lot of time, have helped developers like the Coalition and Turn 10 get their games running in 4K in less than a day, which is impressive, although it's also worth noting that if anyone has a lot of experience with Microsoft consoles and working with them, it's the Coalition and Turn 10. So it's not just like random off the street, hey, how fast can you get your game running? No, they stacked the deck, but it's still pretty impressive.
And judging by their comments throughout the piece, Microsoft wants Xbox development to be more like PC development, so developers can build the games huge and then scale them down to work for each console on the Xbox family.
And just keep removing sliders and optimization. The promise is that as each new Xbox comes out, it'll already be built on this same platform, since Microsoft is moving away from the generational model, which is a theme that keeps coming up. Now, that would certainly keep developers from having to learn how to optimize their engines for each new console generation, and would also shorten development times in the long run, theoretically.
And Microsoft doesn't just want this mentality of generationless development to extend to their hardware, they want their games to be multi-generational too. In other parts of the interview, Xbox boss Phil Spencer talked about how Microsoft wants to turn its platform and its games into service that live beyond a single iteration of hardware. Again, very much like the way it works on PC.
Right, you upgrade a PC, you don't suddenly lose the compatibility of all your games.
Nope.
It does also mean, though, that if we're looking at PC as a model, they might need beefier hardware, because optimization for PC can be hit or miss for a lot of developers. As soon as you start introducing variation into the hardware, then developers have to cater to, I mean, even now there's OG Xbox One, Xbox One S, there's gonna be Scorpio, so that's 3 hardware configurations, at least, that Xbox One developers have to optimize for, so.
Calling it now, Scorpio 1S.
No. Spencer said as part of the interview, "Today, if I look at the top 10 games that people are playing on Xbox One, and I do that every day, a lot of those games are games that have been around for years. I can pick something, well, obviously I can pick something like Minecraft, but that's a little bit cliche at this point. But pick something like GTA 5. GTA 5 is a game that's been out there forever, a massive success, and still incredibly powerful on our platform in terms of what people are playing as they continue to play it."
That's likely a big reason why they bought Minecraft in the first place, using it as a platform for new opportunities. Just this week, they launched virtual currency for the Windows 10 version of the game, bringing a storefront where approved creators can sell their content for real money via Minecraft coins.
And judging by Spencer's comments, they want some of their other brands to function a little bit in that vein as well. So maybe we'd see Halo or Gears of War or Forza all become services, kind of, rather than sequel factories in the long term, essentially being one title that can be supported for years and years and years, you know, rather than creating essentially the same game over and over and over again? Possibly.
Digging it.
There are, of course, some pluses and minuses to those models, but it's definitely interesting to see Microsoft continuing to lean away from talk of the next generation.
Elsewhere in the interview, Spencer also revealed that the original plan was for Scorpio to have something of a baby brother.
Oh, wasn't that the S? I thought the Xbox One S was the baby brother, but I guess that's just me.
Well, they were originally targeting the release of 2 higher-powered consoles, one for 1080p users and one for 4K users, with the first of those hitting in 2016 and the second hitting this year. But as time and planning moved forward, they eventually decided to shift the 4K box alone because of where the market was heading.
Spencer said, "We saw 4K TVs coming, and we made a prediction that 4K TVs were going to be a thing during this generation, as opposed to when you think about original Xbox to 360, the SD to HD transition for TVs kind of happened basically as the generation happened."
He went on to say, "But we thought 4K TVs would get to scale in the middle of this generation, so we designed a console for 2016 and a console for 2017. We were kind of working on both plans simultaneously."
Yeah, he said ultimately they couldn't do it in 2016 and promised developers the full experience they wanted, and he even talked a little bit of smack about PS4 Pro, calling it a 2016 machine.
Ooh, sick burn.
Harsh. Wow. It's okay, PS4 Pro. You're doing real good with.
We still love you.
Yeah. But as far as he's concerned, Scorpio is the machine for the future, and that's why it won't matter that PS4 Pro has a full year on them.
So we'll have to see about that. In terms of other interesting parts of the interview, Spencer also revealed that Microsoft will be making some efforts with VR with Scorpio, but there's hesitation there because he thinks we're just at the very beginning of a long, long road in that medium.
Yeah, Spencer revealed there is a plan, I'll say that. This is not a we don't know what we're doing, it's more that we aren't saying yet.
Kind of sounds like the same thing.
I mean, it's not that. He says, we're doing something, we're not going to tell you what yet. It seems like at this point they want to focus on talking about Scorpio, not all the other things. It would have been like Sony splitting discussion, well, they kind of did, and it, was in some cases to their detriment, talking about like PS4 Pro, but then also about Project Morpheus, which they then renamed to PlayStation VR, and the fact that those launched super close together was said to potentially damage sales because you want to get both. You're looking at a double the price. So right now it seems like Microsoft focusing on the console. They'll worry about VR later. Probably once there are more system selling, like hardware selling VR games out there. They're not at the forefront of this one. They seem to be waiting.
You also don't want a No Man's Sky overhyped case on your hands.
Yes.
So there you have it. Also, another big part of the interviews focused on what Microsoft's ultimate goal was for gamers. Rather than tying games to a specific box, he said that he wants to focus on the gamer first, building experiences that meets their needs, meaning playing the same game on your console, on PC, and maybe on the go?
Well, we're seeing it with a lot of this mobile stuff they're doing. Like Minecraft is another great example of that. According to Spencer, Microsoft has designed multiple iterations of a mobile version of Xbox that could play low-powered Xbox games on the go. So far, none of that seems to have panned out, but it's interesting that Microsoft is thinking along those lines as they look ahead to the future. I mean, who knows, maybe a Switch-like version of Xbox could one day be part of the Xbox family of consoles if they are trying to think in this multi-hardware sort of thing. But for the moment, they seem to be focusing on mobile releases for that kind of experience.
Hell, if an Xbox Switch comes out, I'd buy it. I'd absolutely buy it. But so far, who they've spoken to about Scorpio is kind of interesting. The first look at the system, as we all know, came from the Digital Foundry, the quintessential tech experts in the video game industry. Now they're talking about developer incentives and the dev kit with Gamasutra, a known hub for video game developers to talk about their most pressing issues.
It's definitely different than their traditional PR strategy where Microsoft would be blitzing us with all the buzzwords that we can handle and hyping up the console. Instead, they're actually speaking to very specific different parts of the gaming community while they're on the road to E3 where, well, the blitzing and the buzzwording will happen then, and hopefully they will unleash a whole bunch of games at that point.
So what do you guys think of these new Scorpio details and all of Microsoft's plan for the future of gaming? Let us know in the comments.
For more updates on Xbox and where they're going with Scorpio and their multi-generational things, remember to like this video and subscribe to the know.
The changes made to Scorpio's dev kit could just continue, with some very similar comments to the ones they made during did I see spring somewhere in there, or did I just stroke out?
New dev kits have front displays showing useful information like current build data, feature double the RAM. Okay.